Hi, friends! I'm Zach.
I'm Mitch.
And we are an excellent little podcast.
This evening, we are here presenting you a little movie podcast starring Zach and Mitch.
Wait, we're doing a podcast?
We are.
We are?
Uh-huh. And doing another different thing.
Okay.
But we've done something like this before a couple times already.
You mean like with like critiques and who's its and what's its galore?
No. I'm talking about Disney Plus original.
Oh, okay.
That
Pinocchio.
came out about a month. Wait a minute. That doesn't come out for another couple weeks.
Oh, okay.
This came out a month ago.
High School Musical, the series?
Season 3? That's season 3's going right now.
Okay. Obi-Wan?
No, we did the review on that.
Okay. Umbrella Academy season 3?
What's that?
It's a good move. It's a good series. Really good. Definitely recommend.
But that's not Disney Plus.
No, that's Netflix.
It's Netflix.
It's Netflix. I don't know. What are you talking about, Mitch?
Miss Marvel.
Oh, right, Miss Marvel. I love Miss Marvel.
But we're like a month behind.
With the 60s and a female comedian and oh wait, no, that's the marvelous Miss Maisel. Sorry.
Is that
sorry.
it?
Yes. Okay. Sorry, I got
like,
mixed up.
what?
Who is this again?
This is Kamala Khan.
Oh, from Marvel.
Yeah.
Of course. I love Kamala Khan and Miss Marvel.
Not a lot of people know about her, though.
No, not a lot of people do. She really came into prominence like in 2011, 2012, especially this specific iteration because
Carol Danvers is still a thing, yeah.
But, this is Kamala Khan, Miss Marvel. And because it's a series, it's a little bit different, so it's not a little movie podcast, but we are still a little movie podcast, and we're still gonna continue on, but we got a little bit of series for you for this one.
Mostly because it's part of the main
broader
Marvel
MCU, yeah.
Correct. Or, no, it's not MCU. It's MCM.
Ooh.
Marvel Cinematic Multiverse.
Ooh. All right. So,
cue music.
So since it's a series, it's not most series by Disney Plus is directed by multiple people. So there are actually a couple of people that directed these couples. So we have Adil
El Arbi
and Balil Falah, who did episodes 1 and episode 6.
We have Mira Menon. She directed episode 2 and 3.
And we have Charmine. Sorry, the screen's really far away. It's Charmine Obaid
Shinoy.
Shinoy.
If we butcher any of your names, we apologize.
We are so sorry. Which she did episodes 4 and 5. So multiple directors, which means styles can vary. What did you think of our directors taking everything on?
They did fine. I'm gonna be honest with you. We are really late in reviewing this because stuff happens.
Yep.
But from what I remember, they all did great. They all had a good grasp on the Miss Marvel character. They all brought everything new and special to the table with every episode that they directed.
Yeah.
I really can't find anything negative to say about any of the episodes. I don't know why, but I just can't remember a lot about Miss Marvel.
Okay.
I don't, and it's not because it's a bad show. It's a great show. But I just, from what I remember, the directors did beautifully. Yeah.
I have to say, out of the 3/4 directors, because it was a pair that did the first and final episode.
Sure.
I actually do have to say Adil and Bial did the best, in my opinion.
Okay.
And I feel their direction really understood Kamala Khan in those 2 episodes, and they really were the ones that really kind of brought the Scott Pilgrim like animation and text bubbly stuff. Those effects were a lot more prominent in their episodes than in the other ones.
Sure.
So I feel like if that was a little bit more consistent throughout the rest of the episodes, it would have added a little bit more fun flavor to it.
Sure.
But I felt their direction had the best heart of Kamala and her family,
I think,
and everything.
Those two episodes, episode 1 and 6, are the ones that I remember
the most.
Yeah,
Sure.
especially episode 1. Episode 1 just immediately hooked me in.
Oh,
but
yeah.
then, like, once 2, 3, 4, and 5, they started slowly diminishing. I'm just like, okay, you can tell that there were multiple directors trying to throw their own little pieces with this show.
Sure.
But it wasn't a bad thing.
Okay.
I think that's what makes me not remember the show as much as, say, Moon Knight or WandaVision, or now that She-Hulk is just started. Mm-hmm. So,
Sure.
But yeah, overall, great job. I just wanted a little bit more, I don't want to say connectivity, but I wanted a little
consistency.
I think that's the word I'm looking
Yeah.
for. Yes.
And so, but one consistent thing that was in here was the screenplay, which was written by Bisha K. Ali. She did all the scripts.
Yes.
So, I thought story-wise, really well done by her. She really understood Kamala. I feel she wrote Kamala's character perfectly.
Sure.
The family was all really well fleshed out.
Sure.
A lot of the characters were pretty fleshed out. Some of them I felt just kind of fell. Some of them kind of fell flat.
Sure.
And kind of suffered an MCU trope that hasn't happened in a while.
Sure.
But we'll get to that when we get to that.
Sure.
But overall, I thought Bisha really did a really wonderful job of introducing yet another character into the MCU,
Sure.
along with a bunch of her supporting cast, which are also equally important to this character.
And don't forget, the character was created by Adrian Alfona.
Yes, which we have to thank them because there would be no Miss Marvel or Kamala Khan without them.
Brief summary: Kamala is a superhero fan with an imagination, particularly when it comes to Captain Marvel. Kamala feels like she doesn't fit in at school and sometimes even at home. That is until she gets superpowers like the heroes she's looked up to.
Oh, that's fun.
Thank you, IMDb.
Thank you, IMDb.
Yeah.
But we really, I think the premise is great.
Sure.
It's a fangirl getting the powers that she's always wanted and realizing there are cool aspects of it, but there's also some really steep costs to having superpowers. It's literally pretty much it's almost Spider-Man like. With great power comes great responsibility, and she has to learn, yes, you are a
hero
teenager, but you are also now a hero, so you have to treat everything with respect, and you got to find that balance. And that's one thing Kamala feels like she struggles with in this series is finding that work, teenage, and superhero balance.
Sure. All right, so brief little summary on how we do things here.
Yep.
We will first have a spoiler section where I will give
spoiler section. We open with spoilers.
Look, Jack, it's late. we just finished something else. Okay.
Nah, you're good. You're good.
We will have a brief non-spoiler section.
Non-spoiler section.
Don't you go there. Oh God. I'll give my thoughts.
Yep.
Zach might give his if I don't kill him first.
That's fair.
We will talk about the cast performances, and Zach won't touch the thing. I got it.
You got it? Okay.
Yeah. We will discuss cast performances, some other related stuff about the movie that isn't really spoiler territory. Then we will state our review. Zach will sound an alarm, and we will put it...
Sound the alarm?
No.
Okay. Not yet.
Calm down, Fido, okay? Then we will state our review, and we split it into 3 categories. We ate it up, meaning we really enjoyed the series. We definitely recommend it. We put it in the needs to cook a little more. Maybe it needs a little bit more seasoning, or
maybe a director change,
casting change, whatever.
Script change, whatever. Just needs that little extra kick.
Sure. Or we feed it to the dog Jazz, who is sleeping.
We love you.
Which meaning, still watch it.
Form your opinion.
Form your own opinion.
But our opinion, it's not good.
Yeah. And then we will have our spoiler section.
Spoiler section?
No. Okay. Wait a minute. I spoiled the alarm in the review section.
Yeah, you're okay.
Yeah.
I'm okay with that spoiler.
Yeah. There will be a alarm, and we will talk about spoilery stuff about the series.
Yeah. All right. Well, solid. Well, so, Mitch, I'll go ahead since you love to talk. And you love to... And since you mentioned you don't remember a whole bunch about this series.
Sure.
What were your first impressions of Miss Marvel? What did you think? What stuck out? What was maybe a little forgettable? What did you think about it?
Well, the show itself is great.
Okay.
Episodes 1 and 6 are phenomenal. I remember those episodes to a T, but I'm having trouble remembering what happens on episodes 2, 3, 4, and 5.
Okay.
I don't know why. It's probably because I may have fallen asleep during one of those episodes. I will not tell you which episode that was. Please do not hate me, fanboys and fangirls and fan everybody else's. But look, listen. The show is still good.
Uh-huh.
I enjoyed every second of it. I am so excited what they're going to do with Miss Marvel in the Marvel's film that comes out next year.
Which also, this isn't a spoiler, but there are 2 post-credit scenes that you definitely want to stick around for.
I'm glad you mentioned that, Zach.
Yes.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
But overall, it's a great addition to the Marvel Cinematic Multiverse. Great Disney Plus show. Would I definitely see a second season? Absolutely, if they find a little bit more consistency to it.
Sure.
And yeah, a great stepping stone into something that, again, we have not seen before.
Yeah.
And we will discuss later after we're done with the cast.
Yeah, absolutely.
Zach?
So, yeah, I don't have amnesia like my friend over here, but
Look. Okay.
No, I really love this series. Honestly,
Yeah.
this one is borderline better than WandaVision in my own personal opinion. Kamala Khan is so lovable. Mm-hmm. Because she's one of us. She's a fangirl. She loves Marvel. She loves Captain Marvel specifically, but she's a fangirl just like us. She knows the history. She knows everything. And the thing is, as we'll get into later, the actual actress that plays Kamala Khan, I feel like is Kamala. She also is a fangirl.
Yeah.
She, so to see one of us, being on screen and being that role, it's just so cool.
Sure.
And then surrounded by such a really interesting family around her and a wonderful cast, and wonderful new voices that we really haven't seen in the MCU not even just in the MCU, just in cinema in general.
Sure.
It's amazing. We go to locations that we really don't see in cinema. We go to places that we only see parts of in cinema, but are usually kind of steeped in a bit of Western lenses a bit. So we get to see it through someone else's eyes and get to see the beauty of that.
Sure.
So it's really some really fun things that they explore in this series. Mm-hmm. And I enjoyed every second of this ride.
I do remember the first shot when they did the Marvel Studios title card and the what was the song they did? It was By the Weekend.
Blinded by the Light, something like that.
That song captured this.
It was perfect song choice.
Yeah. We don't own
those rights, so we can't use it more than 4 seconds. But it's great.
That was one thing I just remember. I'm like, because that really got me excited. Because I'm like, oh, I'm gonna dance a little bit. I actually did that. When it started, I'm like, oh yeah, here we go.
All right, so
cast time.
Let's talk about the cast specifically. So we kind of split it up into a couple of categories. Yeah. We're going to talk about the Khan family first, and then we're going to move on to the friend group, and then we're going to move on to some side characters.
Yeah.
So really, really fun in terms of the family, which is the most excited about it. We got to start, like how I said, with Iman Vellani, who played Kamala Khan / Miss Marvel. Oh my gosh. I want this girl in every single Marvel project from here on out.
Yeah.
Kamala Khan is the new face of the MCU, man, in my opinion. I want her to be my next Iron Man or Captain America so bad.
Really?
Yes. Every single character around her is wonderful. She is such a big character for growth. You could put so much behind Kamala, and Iman Vellani seems up to the task. She's hungry for it, and you just see the love for not only this character, but the love of this character. She understands Kamala. She has been in Kamala's shoes growing up. You can tell Iman and Kamala are one and the same person, and it plays off so well. So I am so excited to see not only how this series went, but what is moving forward. I'm so excited to see her, and she did such an amazing job. There were moments where I was busting a gut laughing. There were times where I was crying. She is a powerhouse actress, and I'm so mad that only now is she being discovered.
Well, she's still young.
She is still young, so I'm excited not only for her career as Miss Marvel, but her career moving forward. I cannot wait to see. I'm going to call it now. She is going to be an Academy Award winning actress.
Really?
100%. Okay. She is going to be a best actress one day.
So I really enjoyed her. But I have a question for you, Zach.
Yeah.
Does she have to be an Academy Award-winning actress and the face in the Marvel Cinematic Multiverse before lunch, or does she still have time?
Sorry, I'm planning out your future, Kamala. I know you don't like that, but like, y'all, she's so good.
Yeah, she nailed that line to a T.
She did.
Yeah, you literally hit the nail right on the head. Nothing more can be said about her. She was beautifully well portrayed throughout the entire series.
And that was like the big marketing push at the beginning
was
of their
her.
marketing was her. Like they were showing when she got casted, they were showing childhood photos of her when
she was cast over Zoom.
She was cast over Zoom. They were just hyping up like, y'all, you are not ready for Iman. Like she is amazing.
When you have somebody like Kevin Feige, literally who's been in the same room as RDJ, Chris Evans, Academy Award winners, list goes on and on. Yeah. And he has literally done nothing but praise this kid. I'm going to have to agree. She's going to be an Academy Award winner.
Yeah.
I would say sooner rather than later.
Yeah. And she's only a kid. Yeah. So it means she's only going to get better. She's only going to get better.
I know. Well, it's so funny because now all the MCU or Marvel Cinematic Multiverse actors going forward, they're all younger than us, Zach.
Yeah, they are.
Florence Pugh, Haley Seinfeld.
Well, I'm about the same age as Florence, but you're older than her.
God damn you, Zach. I'm literally older than the majority of them. And I'm just like, gosh, dang it. Now I know how my dad feels when he's watching all these young people play superheroes. Yeah. And he's just sitting on his couch. Yo, by the way, happy birthday, Dad. You're 56.
There we go. You got it. Happy birthday, Abby. You were on August 15th.
Happy birthday, Carl Fesser.
Hey, happy birthday, Abby Pre-Wish. Woohoo! All right. So now that we got birthdays and the wonderful Iman Vellani, we talked about them, we have another person who really had a factor in this show, which is Zeniba Shroff, who played her mother, Muniba Khan. I feel like the main tension of this series was the mother-daughter relationship.
Yeah, and it really kind of spoke to me a little bit because you always have that one parent that you just can't please.
Yeah.
Like for me, it was my dad. I love my dad. Love you. I just celebrated your birthday, but I could never please him. It didn't matter what I did, whether it was theater, sports, grades. I mean, yeah, I'm not going to lie. My grades were terrible, but there is never a time I could ever please my dad. Sure. And that was Kamala. Like throughout the entire show, like I can't please my mom.
Yeah.
And it sucks. When you have that consistent disappointing look or tone from a parent that you look up to, it sucks.
Yeah.
Believe me, it sucks. So I kudos to the moon, Zenobia Shroff. Thank you.
Yeah.
And she did beautifully.
Oh yeah.
I kind of hated her a little bit, but that's okay.
But like the thing that was really wonderful about her performance as Muniba was you could see that she was trying to connect with Kamala in very frustrating ways.
Sure.
And you felt like she was really at the end of her rope with trying to connect with Kamala or dealing with Kamala's quote unquote antics.
Sure.
But her performance was just so interesting and so well layered. I love to hate her, but wanted to love her so much. It was so great. But
somebody I love,
the person that I absolutely adored, and I had the biggest tears for in this series was her dad, which was played by Mohan Kapoor, who played Yusuf Khan.
He was
great. My god. So in the comics, her appa is like huge. Like her appa is the one that supports her through everything, gets her. So I was like, if you do Kamala Khan, you got to get the dad right.
Yes.
And they, again, perfect casting.
Yeah.
He knocked it out of the park. Like I said, I was in tears at one point in the first episode with his performance.
Yeah, he did really good.
The dude is so good.
Yeah.
And again,
where's he been? That's my question.
Like, oh my god, and again, it's one thing to have a performance like where you are showcasing just how wonderful you are as an actor and a performer.
Sure. And
it's great, but it's another level to use that to age your star.
Sure.
And I feel like Iman and Mohan were like equals each time that they were acting, and they were really feeding off of each other, and it was just it's glorious. He did amazing.
Oh yeah, I agree. Totally. Nothing more can be said about his portrayal. It's great. Absolutely phenomenal.
Yeah. And then I did really, really love him. Her brother, who was played by Saga Saik, who played Amir Khan. I liked her brother in the first few episodes, but I learned to love him, like absolutely adore him in the last episode.
He was such kind of he was a brown-nosed older brother.
A little bit, but like he also was like very much there for Kamala.
Oh, absolutely,
like,
he was.
He was the sympathetic. He was the sympathetic older brother, which was really nice to see.
Yeah, he was pretty cool. Like I enjoyed his performance too. I really. Not much else can be said about the majority of this cast. I mean, they all did phenomenally, but we still got to discuss it.
Yeah. So we also have Samina Ahmad, who played Sana Khan, which is grandmother. Yeah. She also does a very wonderful job in this story. She plays a very pivotal part, but you still don't see very much of her. But very, very wonderful, very acting, and you really get to kind of see some parallels between the mother-daughter relationship, but then their mother-daughter relationship. So it's very interesting to kind of have that parallel and see the connections between the two mothers and daughters.
And Zach's about to knock over
and ruin this episode, but it's fine. It's okay.
Yeah,
we're good.
Mean, we're shopping for other stuff. So.
Yeah, we're fine.
Who's next?
Yeah, the next one is Mewish Hala, who played Aisha Khan.
Yes.
Which is again another mother-daughter, but she is Kamala's great grandmother. Who kind of sets everything in motion.
Yeah, can't discuss a lot,
but her part was, again, rather small. We really only got an episode's worth out of her story, but
we can't discuss it.
But I felt like she did a very, very wonderful job, too.
I agree.
Yeah.
Friend group time.
So, yeah, now we got the friend group. So, again, another set of really wonderful supporters. We've got Kamala's, I would say, It's a toss-up between Nakia and Bruno for best friend, but I feel like Bruno is the one that she spends the most time with.
Yeah, and you can tell there's a little romantic feelings.
Possibly, yeah. There's a little bit. There's a possibility. To be honest, I like the idea of a will they, won't they kind of situation, but I don't want them to at the same time.
I agree. Yeah.
Like, have that little will they, won't they, which they do have, but keeping them separate I like them just as friends.
Yeah, Matt Lintz is Bruno.
And Yasmin Fletcher as Nakia. Both really did a good job. Bruno is kind of the more techie, while Nakia is more of the spiritual friend.
Agree. Yeah.
Because Nakia is very much into her Muslim religion and being a key leader of the Muslim faith. Like, she wants to help her community, like, and whatnot, and she's very busy with that.
Yes.
And it's really excited to kind of see how she progresses through that.
Sure.
But Bruno is more that, like, supportive friend of Kamala, who's kind of like there with her, trying to get her through some things with her family and things like that.
Sure.
And her family thinks he's like the second son.
Yeah.
Almost like they
That's literally how they treat him. Yeah.
They treat him as their own, which is really nice. Because he is an orphan.
Yeah.
So I feel like Muniba and Yusuf kind of like didn't adopt him, but kind of took him in.
Yep.
And it's just kind of wonderful just to kind of, because that's why I feel like Bruno's like a brother to Kamala.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Like a stepbrother, but not exact. But yeah, and then Nakia, I thought she did an amazing job too.
I did too, yeah.
Yeah. But what about you, bud? What do you think about the two?
No, those two, they both brought something different to the Kamala character from a secondary character standpoint.
Sure, yeah.
Because, like you said, Kamala, even though she was technically kind of a loner type, it's nice to see that she has good friends that care about her.
Yeah.
And those two knew what job that they had to portray characters that care about Kamala.
Yeah.
And that's... Well, bravo. Yeah.
All right. And then we have Rish Saha, who plays Karman. Cameron. My fault. Kamran. That's it.
Yeah.
Kamran was a very interesting mix.
He was different.
He was different, but I really enjoyed what he added.
Kind of a mysterious kind of deal. Yeah.
More of a mysterious kind of guy, but he adds a nice bit, and also like a bit of social commentary through his character too. But I really loved that kind of social commentary that they made with him. And he's the bad boy, he's that bad boy role, but it's really endearing and really wonderful, and like, you see it in the trailer, like she has a bit of a crush on him. Like it's like you kind of need it in kind of like these coming of age kind of stories, and he really did a really wonderful job of managing that balance, which I thought was really, really cool.
Yeah, I really agree. I think handled it very, very well done.
Yeah. And then we have Laurel Marsden, who played Zoe. Zoe is kind of like the school rival, kind of bully-ish.
The TikTok influencer,
famous.
yeah.
Yeah, influencer.
Man, don't you hate TikTok influencers a little bit?
A little bit, just a little.
We're not going to name names.
We won't name names, but she...
You're almost there.
But she... I don't know. Like, her performance was really, really good, but her character...
I hated the character.
Character was...
mean.
Mean, but, like, also just kind of, like, really shallow, and her character arc, like... It made sense, but it was very quick.
Yeah.
And it's just because we don't spend a lot of time with the character, so they tried to give her a quick arc.
Right, I agree.
And it felt too expedited, like, we need to keep going.
I agree. It's hard when you have only a 6-episode series.
Yeah, so. Exactly. So
I feel like if it was an 8-episode series, I feel
that growth probably would have done a little better,
Correct.
All right, but the actress, I thought, in terms of, like, performing the role that she was
she did
given.
fine,
She was
yeah.
fine. It was just the character itself left a little bit to be desired.
I get the feeling she may have been a TikTok influencer before she was this.
Maybe, who knows?
Please, for the love of God, film studios, stop hiring TikTok influencers as actors and actresses, please. Majority of them can't act in the first place. Thankfully, you found a diamond in the rough here, but majority of them can't act. I mean, come on. No.
Yeah, but
They're just doing random dances and pulling things out of stones.
yeah, it's fine. It's great. Or can't. But moving on to some swords and daggers, we actually have a red dagger show up, specifically the red dagger, played by
Wait. The Red Dagger.
the red dagger,
Not the Red Dagger.
not the red dagger, the red dagger.
Oh, shoot.
Played by Aramis Knight.
Wow, it's only fitting.
I know, right?
I know.
But he was there.
Yeah, out of all
I-
this cast, I told you how I'm having trouble remembering everybody.
Yeah.
I can't remember him at all.
He
I will be honest with you, I don't remember him at all.
And
I don't.
I will say again, I think it's another thing of time. He's just not in the
Yeah.
series a whole bunch, but I feel like he was just kind of thrown in, and the actor his performance kind of wasn't the best. Admittedly, I feel like everyone else kind of outshined him.
Sure.
But
He's
there.
Yeah.
And he's
there to be.
I think the idea of the red dagger, I think, can be fleshed out more, and I hope they do a little bit more with him, and I hope the actor himself is up for the task, because
Sure.
the little bit that we did see from him, I wasn't an entirely big fan of.
Sure.
So, I'm not saying recast,
No.
because again, we didn't see much of him.
Right.
So I'm not gonna say, oh, terrible, for seeing him for all of, the little bit that we did. But
Right.
I think he can maybe work a little bit harder to kind of get that role a little bit more. And of course that could come with a little bit better script and whatnot behind it
Of course. And with time, I think he'll get better. So.
Yeah, because that's the thing. I feel like this character will show up again.
Oh, for sure.
Don't know when, but probably will.
I think I'm going to go out on a limb and say this is not a limited series.
Oh yeah, I think this is going to continue on.
Yeah.
Besides past the Marvels, because it was announced when the Marvels came out, it's going to be Proton, her, and Brie Larson.
Yeah.
Joining forces together.
Sure.
So I'm excited. So I am excited to see that. So he might pop up in that. Who knows?
Might.
Okay, and then we have two side characters that we do want to bring up, which Najma, who's played by Namira
Buka?
and Alyssa Rayner, who plays DODC Agent Deaver.
I don't remember any of these characters.
And so Najma there's not much that we can really talk about without going into spoilers.
Yeah.
But Najma is a mentor character. That is kind of interesting. They kind of go into her a little bit.
Sure.
She, I felt, was fine, but fell into a fatal Marvel flaw that hasn't shown up for a while until this show happened again. So I feel like we'll kind of go more into it when we get to our spoiler talk.
Sure.
when we talk about her. And then again for Alyssa, we'll talk about her a little bit more in the spoiler talk, but it's nice to see the DODC come into play again and have that be the connective tissue to the MCU kind of as a whole a little bit as well.
Sure.
Besides Kamala being a big fan of Ant-Man and everything and whatnot. But having that external force just kind of made sense, especially with the political commentary that they were trying to make.
Sure.
It makes sense to have the DODC there.
Yeah, I agree.
But yeah. But yeah, that was our cast. Do you have anything to say about those two side characters? You said that they weren't all that memorable for them. So
they were very not memorable at all.
Okay, for sure.
And if I did remember, I probably not going to talk about it because it's in later
spoiler.
sections.
Yeah, that's fair. All right. Well, So that's it for our cast. A little few more non-spoiler things that we'll talk about. First thing that we'll talk about is kind of like the background animation.
Oh, yeah.
Which I feel like that was the first and sixth episodes idea.
Yeah.
To bring to the MCU, which I really loved. It was It was a bit like Scott Pilgrim-y of like the like imagination kind of like insight into Kamala's like mind.
Sure.
Way. All of them were cool. How they did the text were really, really cool.
Yeah.
I feel like that was their little bit of flair, but it didn't translate to the rest of the episodes because it disappeared for like the in between episodes.
It was so disappointing that I didn't see it in the other episodes.
Mm-hmm. But it was used to perfection when it was used.
I agree. Yeah.
So I hope that they bring that aspect of Kamala back when she goes into the Marvels. But I think this is going to be so... I thought that background animation was so cool and so new and interesting to the MCU.
You know, something that's new and interesting. The one thing I do remember from the show was the family dynamic.
Yeah.
I know we saw bits of it in Black Widow.
Yep.
But we didn't see it near as much as we saw in this show.
As well executed.
Correct.
Because, I mean, Black Widow, like, her quote-unquote family was... fake. Interesting but also fake.
Yeah.
But like there were like small aspects of it where like okay, it's a disgruntled family, but sure.
Somewhat believable.
But this is a family. Like you genuinely
relatives. Yeah.
Like you genuinely believe that each one of these people like this is a small family unit and they are so lovable and so loving to see all together, and you feel each of their problems.
Sure. Mm-hmm. But one thing that
we have to commend
the fact that this is the first Muslim Marvel hero.
Yeah.
This is a lot of firsts here.
Yeah.
This year.
This phase has ushered in quite a bit of firsts, but this is a big one.
First sitcom.
First
Egyptian hero.
First Egyptian hero.
First
even
Muslim,
series.
First series,
true. Yeah. And but we've been having a whole lot of firsts with this phase, which is sometimes I think what a lot of people forget.
Yeah.
But it's really awesome that we have our first Muslim character and hero in Kamala Khan.
And in reality, this is the first brown female character.
Oh yeah, you're right. First Pakistani character as well.
Yeah.
She fits right into the MCU, into the fabric of it, like she was originally, like as if she was originally there in phase 1. Like
didn't skip a beat.
Not a beat. This feels directly threaded into the MCU, and it's so well written into that.
Well, and kudos goes to Iman Vellani.
Yes.
I mean, she knew there was pressure.
And as well, our scriptwriter, Misha, who did wonderful.
Well, and Kevin Feige, too, for giving Iman Vellani the confidence that she needed.
Yeah, and the push to even have this character even come into the MCU,
Absolutely.
too.
Because with every Marvel product... Mm-hmm. There's pressure behind it.
Oh, yeah.
And this one had a lot because this is another first.
Yep.
So kudos to everybody involved. Kevin Feige, Iman Vellani.
Directors, productions, assistants, everyone here.
A lot of pressure, and you all hit a grand slam.
Mm-hmm. And then the final thing that we kind of want to talk about is the score.
Yeah.
Through Laura Cartman, who I felt like the score was actually really well done, and as well with the original stuff that she composed for the series, as well as like how you said Bright Lights and like and picking those songs too were really well done. Mm-hmm. She did a really wonderful job of having her have a finger to the pulse of this series and knowing what needed what. Mm-hmm. So I really enjoyed Kamala's theme. I think it's not as like ear tone or earwormy as WandaVision, but like it's still very distinct and very identifiable.
Every time I wake up,
and not as Moon Knight as well, but I feel like the more she's used. It's gonna be a lot more like, Kamala's coming. like it's gonna inspire a lot of like smiles and excitement, and inspire a whole bunch of little girls.
Yeah, absolutely.
We're really excited for that. So
right.
That's our non-spoiler section. We'll go ahead and get into our review section. Again, for those that need a reminder, we have 3 categories. We have Eat It Up, which we felt it's great. It's wonderful. We love it.
Definitely recommend it.
We have needs a little more seasoning. Maybe it
needs to cook a little more. Yeah.
Needs to cook a little more. Needs a little script change, or needs a director change, actor change, something in order to bump it up to Eat It Up.
Yeah.
And then we have Feed It to the Dog Jazz,
which we don't recommend it, but still see it, form your own opinion.
But yeah, Mitch, what do you think of this series?
Oh, I'm blinded by the light. I ate this show up.
Yeah?
Yeah. With what I remember, I ate this show up. I mean, what else? I really haven't needed to see anything Marvel that needs to cook a little more since like Thor: The Dark World in a while. So I knew I was going to eat this up.
Sure.
But again, what else can be said about this show?
Yeah.
It was very well done. I would love to see a second season. I can't wait to see what happens in the Marvels.
Yeah.
So yeah, I ate it up. Zach, what'd you do?
You actually might be a little shocked by this.
Don't you dare.
Oh, I am.
Wow.
I know, but it is my opinion.
Go ahead.
To me, we have a hidden category, 2 categories. We have putting it down the garbage disposal if we don't even think it's safe for Jazz to consume.
Like I did just a little bit ago.
Like we did with just a little while ago. But we have another tier. A model of what like movies or shows or series should look like that we call clean plate. I'm going to give Miss Marvel a clean plate. I thoroughly enjoyed this character. I thoroughly enjoyed the family dynamic. Is it 100% perfect? No, but I feel like everything in combination together makes it perfect. I genuinely so much enjoyed Miss Marvel that I would, in a heartbeat, like if I heard, so we're thinking about season 2, greenlit. That's it. Yes, I don't care. You could have like Fing Fang Foom, the most racist character, make an appearance, and I'd be like, fucking hate that, but green light, go! I want to see what you do, because this Aman Vellani did such a wonderful job. The writers did such a wonderful job. The 2 directors that did the 1st and the 6th episode should, I feel like, take over the series as a whole for season 2.
Sure.
Like, I want to see season 2 so bad, and they haven't greenlit anything, they haven't done anything, but I'm so excited to see where this character goes, and I really want a season 2 really bad of this show.
I feel like Disney is waiting for a certain convention.
Yeah. Maybe D23, who knows?
Yeah.
But I am so excited to see where they take Kamala Khan like into the MCU and where she's gonna go, especially if some spoiler things happen. So but I'm
sound the alarm.
I can sound it.
Yes,
I can sound it. Okay, all right, ready.
Yes,
ready.
Yes.
Ready. Wah, spoiler alert.
It's time, folks. We're in spoiler section.
We are
now
in spoiler territory, ladies and gentlemen. So if you are all set, thank you for listening to our review, but we are now officially into spoilers, so if you wish to turn off, that is okay. But here we go.
Don't forget to like, share.
Oh, don't forget to like and share and continue following us. We are excited to have you guys with us.
We got more stuff coming.
But into our spoilers of Miss Marvel.
Kamala goes to the past.
So Kamala goes into the past, and like, like the past.
This
is new for the character.
Yeah. I don't think she's ever done this before.
I don't think she's ever done this before. Her bracelet's a little bit different in this
Yeah.
one. It's no longer just rings. It's actually a full-on bracelet bandit. But it actually teleports her to
the past.
To the past, to Pakistan's like creation. It goes to the partition, which I admittedly, because the U.S. history, U.S. education history systems failed me.
Failed all of us.
Failed all of us, especially on more recenter events.
Yep.
I knew very little about Pakistan's formation and foundation.
Same,
so partition was talked about a whole bunch before she went into the partition.
Yep.
It was building it up, and it continually said, like, you know, each family has their own partition story. Each family, partition was so terrible for us. Partition at the same time, you know, made who we are, Pakistani.
Yep.
They built it up, and then they brought us to partition and brought us into her family's partition story. And it was so interesting and cool to see.
Yes.
I ate that episode up because it wrapped up like the whole how her grandmother magically made it into her great grandfather's arms, and also like how she actually has a part to play into that.
Yeah.
Like, it was so cool, and I loved it. It was so awesome to see them do that.
Yeah,
and,
that's really cool.
It made such a wonderful turn in the series that I didn't think that we were gonna do.
I did not expect it at all.
But when it came, I was like, oh my god, yes.
Yeah, that happened.
And it didn't feel forced. Like,
No.
it felt completely in the story and felt like a natural progression to see it. So
Sure.
I love that it wasn't like something like shoehorned in.
Sure.
It felt 100% in with the story that they were trying to tell.
Absolutely.
What did you think about seeing Partition?
I thought it was great. Again, I don't really know a lot about the partition, so I would have to definitely look into the history books for that, and not the
English history books.
Yeah, actually go onto something that no one goes to anymore is the library.
The library?
I actually may go to the library and see if I can find a book.
There we go.
Yeah, and then it actually kind of forces me to maybe do my own research and find out about the history of Pakistan.
And that's always the hallmark of good art, is introduce and get you curious about that to form your own opinions.
Sure.
All right, but another place that I was introduced to is just Pakistan pretty much as a whole, because unfortunately, as a good old American, Pakistan has always been othered.
Yeah, I agree.
And we I always think of just like the Middle East mountains, and you know,
like the Himalayas,
the Himalayas or Al Qaeda or all like the negatives of Pakistan, but never the beauty of it.
No,
never the beauty of it.
It's a very beautiful place,
and we get to. It was shot in Tibet,
sure,
but we got to see kind of the beauty of one of the cities, Karachi, Pakistan. And oh my god, seeing Kamala go to Pakistan and seeing
where her
ancestors are from, and see where her home and history is from,
correct,
was so beautiful. And seeing just the look of wonder in her eyes of like, if I was going to like Chicago for the first time or New York, like, I was like, this is so cool.
It kind of reminded me, two examples. It reminded me when I went to London in 2017, because I have relatives that were from London originally.
Sure.
So I literally, as soon as I put my foot down on London Road, it felt like I was walking where my ancestors were walking. Not like my main ancestors, but an ancestor.
Yeah.
And I felt like I was walking in his or hers footsteps. And it also reminded me a little bit of Black Panther, because you know, with there was that quote that Killmonger said that when I look into the sunset as he died, it feels it kind of, he said it was reminding him of where
his
ancestors from Africa were, and when they were
shipped off. Yep.
That this instance in Miss Marvel reminded me of that, because what's Killmonger, if you really think about it, he was somebody that wanted to go home.
Yeah.
And Miss Marvel, Kamala Khan, got that chance.
Yeah.
Without having to die.
Yeah.
And she got to go home to where her ancestors grew. They started families, and they decided to come to the United States.
Yep.
And it was a very beautiful Marvel scene, if you really think about it. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But, okay. So, another thing. So, it was hard for us to talk about these two specific characters in our non-spoiler section. We got to talk about the villains in this. The Marvel curse kind of comes back in this one a bit. Were they better than our average normal Marvel curse? Yes. They were a little bit better fleshed out, a little bit, but they did have us a little bit lacking.
They were forgetful.
They were a bit forgetful. Najma was a precursor villain because she was a mentor to Kamala, but then there was the bait and switch of, no, I'm actually a villain. So she decided to try to use Kamala's powers so that she could get back to her dimension.
Yeah.
Kamran ended up being her Najma's daughter or son.
Yeah.
So he ends up being the superpower villain at the end.
Yeah.
But not villain too.
Yeah, it was weird.
Which is not weird, but it's also a little bit of commentary of like looking at like the bad Pakistani or like the othering of them, and I thought it was he was the true like, okay, Marvel's kind of learned from there. He was kind of like the gray villain, which I really enjoyed.
Yeah,
I thought like him as the villain was really, really good, and like Iman trying to save him yet defeat him was a very interesting dynamic at the end, was really, really fun.
Sure.
But then having the DC in there, I thought was also, again, a little bit forgettable, but a good connection, but also really good commentary, again, on the othering, but not of the bad Pakistani, but of the othering of just Pakistanis in the U.S. in general and Muslims. Yeah. I thought it was really great commentary there and utilizing that theme because that agent was incredibly racist.
Yeah, she was mean.
Incredibly mean.
I do remember that. Yeah.
So it was really kind of great.
It was to the point where her director called her and said, "What the fuck
are you doing?" Yeah.
Like literally.
These are kids and you literally have armed
guards. Yeah.
You have armed U.S. soldiers pointing guns at a school with children in it.
Yes.
What the fuck?
Yeah, that's like, literally what he said. I mean, I didn't say the F-bomb, of course, but we're saving the F-bombs for Deadpool.
Yeah. But literally, it's I thought she was also a really good villain to give that commentary, especially after. So
what kind of really kind of opens people's eyes to not just police brutality, but it also opens people's eyes like, there's a lot going on right now and you just aren't seeing it.
Correct. Yeah.
So it's Marvel basically doing what they do best, telling current events through their art.
Yeah. And I felt like they did such a really wonderful thing, which leads us to our end fight.
That was it. That was good.
Which was really fun. Again, it's an underdog fight.
Yeah.
So you're very limited in terms of like what you can do with an underdog fight because you have Captain Marvel, who is still kind of getting a handle on her own powers.
Yeah, she didn't really.
Kamran, who is also getting a hold of his powers because Najma kind of passed on some powers to him in the episode before. So now he's new to these powers, but of course, they're a little more violent.
Sure.
And then you have the DODC,
Yeah.
who's just
They're literally being mean.
being ass.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was kind of like some really bad like school shooter vibes almost too.
It came at a very difficult time.
Especially since there was a school shooting like
right
around right before episode 1 premiered.
I think it was.
So this was episode 6. So
6 weeks. Yeah.
So it was still like relatively in our minds, but Marvel did put right at the beginning of the episode some of these scenes may be disturbing to others, so viewer discretion is advised.
Yeah, Marvel did the right thing.
So they did do the right thing there, but it was a commentary that needed to be done.
Yeah, again, Marvel is talking about current events through their films and TV shows.
Yes, and I felt like their end fight though was very well done.
Yes,
by having like the smoke screen with the fire extinguishers that they were doing, neat, and having the chase around, and then having the final face-off between Kamran
and Kamala,
Kamala and the DODC at the same time.
Yeah.
Of like Kamran trying to destroy the DODC while Aman is trying to save Kamran, but make sure that he's not killed by the DODC. Yet the DODC is also trying to kill Kamala. So her holding off both forces was very awesome. We also, because these powers of Kamala she's able to bend light instead of embiggen from the comics. Correct, where she would basically be almost like Mr. Fantastic. She could extend her arms and grow, but we got to hear say embiggen and be embiggen in bending her light, which was kind of cool.
Yeah.
Looked a little weird.
That's just because
it's streaming budgets. So I feel like a better budget, and they also kind of chalked it up to her being new to her powers as well. Yeah. So I feel like when she learns her powers a little bit more and we get a better budget, her light powers are gonna solidify a little bit more.
Absolutely.
But which kind of goes into her powers specifically.
Can I do the music?
Yeah, you can.
Na 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 na. Na, 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 na.
I think she has a mutation.
Are you talking about the X-Men?
No, not X-Men just yet. No X-Men were used, but mutants are now canon to the MCU because of Miss Marvel. We have now officially said mutations. Mm-hmm. This is huge. Especially since Kamala in the comics is originally an Inhuman.
Yes.
She gets her powers from it's what is used in Multiverse of Madness, Terrigen Mist.
Right.
That's how Inhumans get their powers of being exposed to Terrigen Mist.
Right.
They're kind of like mutants. They aren't, but they kind of are. Mm-hmm. But Terrigen Mist is what affects Inhumans.
Sure.
Mutations,
you're born
with it. Now, how they kind of explain why her powers are only showing up now in the series as opposed to she was like born with it, is that the bangle that Kamala puts on, given from her grandmother, who is from Aisha, her great-grandmother.
Sure.
By putting on the bangle, it unlocks
the
power that was in her. And really cool to have Bruno actually discover the mutation.
Because he was the techie.
Yeah, so very, very cool. That was our first post-credit scene. So I was like, oh, that's awesome. That's our ending post-credit scene. That's it. Like, that's gotta be like, that's such a cool way to end it. Like, introducing the mutants into the MCU. Like, that's awesome.
Yeah.
That wasn't it. Well, first off, I don't want to blow through you. What do you think about the mutants being put into the MCU finally? And where do you think they're going to go with having Aman being in as a mutant instead of an Inhuman?
I don't really know.
Oh, yeah?
I honestly don't know. I'm literally, when they announced the mutation,
Yeah.
I'm like, you know what? I have a lot of theories going on up here,
Sure.
but I'm not going to voice them.
Okay.
Because I'm going to trust in the Marvel future.
Correct.
I'm
Okay,
going to
I
trust
feel
what
that.
Kevin Feige, I'm going to see what Kevin does.
Uh-huh.
Going to see what going to happen.
Sure.
And I'm going to be along for the ride.
Sure.
I'm not going to make assumptions.
Okay.
I'm not going to make predictions. I am going to enjoy whatever this girl is in from now on.
Sure. Yeah, no. And I also trust Kevin with changing that.
Sure.
Because, again, it's a very big change.
Yes.
It really is, because Inhumans are not mutants, but I feel that they are similar enough that I can buy that change.
Oh, I can too.
I want the Inhumans to come into the MCU eventually? Yes.
I do too, yeah.
Yes, I do. We kind of did with Multiverse of Madness by having Black Bolt come in.
But then he got his brains
But then he
blown
got
off.
his brains blown out.
Oh, shit.
But I am 100% excited to have the Inhumans come in, but I'm even more excited to have the mutants come in. So
Yes.
having Kamala be part of the mutants, even if she's not an X-Men, I'm okay. That's one thing I guess I actually am a little bit concerned about. I don't want her to be an X-Men.
I kind of hope she isn't. I don't think she will.
I want her to be her own thing. I
Sure.
want her to just be a mutant. That would be okay. Totally fine with that. But an X-Men, maybe not.
I do want to see Deadpool and her have like a sass contest.
Oh yeah, that would be fun.
That would be
be
neat,
fun.
yeah. Or like her, Peter Parker, and Yelena Belanova
Uh-huh.
and Deadpool, all four of them just like making fun of each other like the entire time. Oh my god!
Or
that would
Kate
be-
Bishop. I would love Kate Bishop.
Like
And
all those
yeah, uh-huh.
Oh, they would go at, well, and all of the four younger ones would be like making fun of each other, like,
Yeah.
"Oh, you have an ugly face," and then here comes Deadpool. Shut the fuck up, you.
Yeah. Well, okay, but here's a question that I will give. So both of us don't want her in the X-Men.
Correct.
Young Avengers?
I could see it.
Yeah?
Or the new Avengers, maybe.
New Avengers or Young Avengers.
Yeah.
Well, because I know that they are setting up the Young Avengers, because you have Kate Bishop, who literally leads the Young Avengers.
Correct.
Who we have. We also have literally Yelena, who, again, also Young Avengers. We have Ironheart, again,
That's
Young
coming,
Avengers.
Spider-Man.
We have Kang, who a variant of Kang, a young Iron Lad, is in the Young Avengers.
Right.
So, while younger Kang hasn't been set up just yet,
Not yet.
that's possible that he could. So I feel like Marvel's building the Young Avengers up. So I would love to actually see her as a Young Avenger. I
Sure.
think she would be very, very cool and a good addition to that roster. I think that's one that I want to
Yes.
see her in a team up for.
But let's talk about this last post-credit scene.
Yes.
And let's end this episode.
Yeah, let's do it. All right, so the final episode happens. Kamala's in her room, covered in Captain Marvel posters and
Uh-huh.
everything. And she's trying on her full suit because her mom gives her full suit and
Yeah.
everything. And she's trying it on, having fun. And then you hear her mom say, "Kamala, like, we got to get going."
And then bam!
And then bam! She's thrown into her closet. And we're like, "Oh, what?"
And then bam! Brie Larson!
Captain Marvel steps out, and she's like, "Whoa!" and what an interesting way to end the series.
Yeah, 'cause
like,
we have no idea why she's there.
correct, because so here's the thing with Miss Marvel. Of the original concept of Miss Marvel was that the character turns into an alter ego who looks similar to Carol Danvers.
Sure.
But isn't Carol Danvers. She is Miss Marvel.
Right.
And then later iterations of Miss Marvel, Kamala is the mantle and she takes on the mantle of Miss Marvel.
Sure.
So yes, it's in the vein, sort of having Kamala transform into an alter ego.
Sure.
But I'm not entirely sure that's exactly what happened.
For some reason, I think they may have
switched places. Yes, which...
Oh, shit.
I'm worried for Kamala.
Yeah, wherever she is.
Because I'm sorry, wherever Carol Danvers is...
let's just hope she's with Nick Fury or something.
Because she's the most powerful she's one of the most powerful Avengers. Like,
literally,
she could be in a very dangerous situation
or
from
she
where
may
she
be
was
in
at.
Space.
Or she may be in space. Kamala can't fly
and she can't breathe.
So I hope Kamala's okay, but it sets up the next iteration for what Kamala will be in the Marvels, which is really well.
Year, yeah.
So I'm really excited to see how Kamala's story continues in the Marvels and how this power of switching with Carol is going on.
Or whatever you said, like maybe this is another alter ego.
I don't think it is.
I don't think it is either.
But, with her going back into the past, anything's possible at this point. But
we'll find out soon.
We will find out soon. But until that time, I'm Zach.
I'm Mitch.
And we are an excellent little podcast.